All right. So, guys, what's up? What's up? You guys are back.
Yeah.
Any questions? So just before you ask questions, this event is about you, right? So you have a good hour, right, to get your questions answered. The whole point of this event is to get you over the hump to getting you into the business so that way you can make the deals yourself, right? So I'm doing deals, the people in our team are doing deals, right? This event is about you to get you to where you want to be in this business. Is that cool? All right. So the questions you're gonna ask me are gonna be hopefully to get you over that hump. So let's get started, right? Before I'm gonna give you guys some background information on the property. That might answer a lot of the questions, and then you'll be free to go ahead and fire away. So this property, we purchased this house about a year ago from a person that inherited the house. Okay, so somebody passed. It's a probate deal. Somebody passed away. We went out and we sourced their information on a weekly basis, like we do, from probate courts, right, all across New Jersey, some different counties of New Jersey. We market to those homeowners, to those people that inherited properties. We do probates, we do tax liens, we do pre-foreclosures for mortgages, we do vacant properties. Basically, we market to everybody and everywhere in the different counties that we want to be in. Okay, so this is where that property came from. We found the homeowner through one of the systems, or they found us through one of the marketing channels that we have, and they gave us a call. All right. So when I spoke to this homeowner, negotiations and the way you speak to homeowners is a huge factor in this business, right? So there's a whole bunch of skills, right, that you're gonna have to learn in this business, right? So number one was we talked about those, having the systems to create marketing, right, to market for the homeowners, and then once people start calling you, then you need to start converting those people, right? So step number one is getting the phone to ring. Step number two is converting those into transactions. Right, so this homeowner, we actually was one of the first times that I was trying a different negotiation method, because what I used to do is I used to tell people, like, this is my offer, this is what you need, this is what we're gonna do for you, this is what we're gonna do for you. I didn't spend a lot of time on asking what do you want out of the transaction, right? And we switched the script on them strategically for this property, and I went to the homeowner. When I met the homeowner, I opened up a whole bunch of dialogue with them, asking them a whole bunch of questions about why they called me, why they wanted to sell the house, why, what price. They actually told me the price that they wanted to sell the house for, right? So I went through the whole property and I was like, well, this is bad, this is not good, we're going to do inspections and we'll determine this and that and the third. But if you were in my position, what do you think this house is worth and what would you be willing to sell it for? And they gave me a price, and rule of negotiations is you never take that price, right? So I said, okay, great, is that the best you can do? And she dropped the price an extra 10 grand, right? And after that, the price she gave me was 160. She dropped it to 150, and at 160 I already knew was a good deal. At 150, I knew it was a steal, right? So what happened was, I said, okay, no problem. She's like, I already have somebody else, this and the third. I was like, cool. So you want 150? Let's make it happen, right? And that's how we got into the transaction. From there, we got into contract. We did our inspections. This property was tenanted by all three floors. Okay. We actually financed this house with a FHA mortgage, 3.5% down, because people were living in the house, right? 3.5% down.
When you had to live in that apartment?
Speculation, the stipulation for the FHA mortgage is you have to move into the house. Okay, we purchased the house with that intention. However, that's why we had one of the tenants on the second floor move out before we purchased. That was one of the contract clauses, right, to satisfy the FHA mortgage. Then when we came into the property, we realized that even though you do inspections on houses, inspectors can't tell you what's behind walls or drop ceilings and things like that. Right. So when we got into this house, we thought we were just going to do a minor renovation. Okay, and then, as you can see, we had a full gut renovation. Basically, the whole entire house, we're doing every single inch of this property, right, from top to bottom. The only thing, we haven't touched. Let me rephrase that: the interior, right? Because we haven't touched the exterior of the house. All right, so pretty much from top to bottom on the inside, we've done everything in the house. So for the first 6 months, it was still tenanted on the first floor. The first 2-3 months, the third floor apartment was still tenanted, so that was paying for the mortgage, right? We didn't have to come out of pocket for that, while we prepared to renovate the second and the third floor. What happened for us, like we weren't ready, we weren't prepared to come in and do the whole gut job, right? Because we were just gonna renovate the second floor, put a tenant in there, and move on. What happened was the tenant on the third floor left. He's like, you know what? I know what you guys are gonna do. They were young people. They're like, you guys are gonna come in here, renovate it, and we don't want to be in the getting in your way. We don't want to get in your way. So just we're gonna move out. They were to the end of their lease, and they moved out. So we're like, all right, good. Now we have an opportunity to fix both apartments, right? So they knew what was going to happen, right? So they left. Also, when they told me all the different problems that the property has, right? They were like, well, the electrical this, the furnace this, right? When I turn my switch on over here, nothing happens, they gave me the rundown, right? So once I get in the house, the real story about what's going on with the property, right? So the homeowner knew all the things, right? So she inherited the property. So they were managing the house actually for a year. That's one thing that I forgot to mention, that they actually had inherited that house a year. They were sitting on my letter for about almost a year before they called me, right? So the work that you put in now, you don't know when it's going to pay out.
You sent a letter, you say, right?
That one was a letter, yeah.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah, so that one, you never know. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to these businesses, you never know when your next year is going to come. So we started renovating. What happened? This property had drop ceilings, the foam drop ceiling. We started removing some of those, and we realized that the electrical wires were just hanging, right? They basically all dropped down. The bathroom was a mess. The layout of the kitchen was a mess. It's the same. Somebody asked me the question about the first floor kitchen, right? You got to go through the kitchen to the bedroom. That's how they all were. So now on the second and third floor, we actually redirected that whole entrance, so that way now you actually have a private entrance for the bedroom, and this one, you have an actual big kitchen, full kitchen that you can use with an L countertop and all that stuff. But yeah, so once we got into the house, we're like, this is wrong, this is messed up, this is messed up, this is messed up. And one thing that was in this property that we knew was there was only one furnace for the whole house, for the whole building. So I was like, I'm not going to be paying for people's heat, right, and cooling. That's rule number one when you come, when you find buying properties for rentals, right? And you can watch that in the education that's available to us. It's you don't want to be paying for utilities, because that's going to drain your cash flow. So that's one of the things that we need to get that squared away. But in order to get that done, we have to put in 3 furnaces, and then we have to do new duct work and reroute that. So we're like, you know what? Now we have enough equity on the property to go out there and make the renovations and be okay on the back end. Because this house, all right. So when that happened, we went out there. We're like, you know what? We're gonna need a renovation loan to fix this property. We might as well do the whole thing. So we switched from FHA to a hard money loan. We refinanced. Okay, so that's what we did. And that's how we were able to get the remainder financing to be able to renovate the property.
What type of loan was that?
A hard money loan. Yeah, so we went from an FHA to a hard money loan. And the exit strategy is, depending on how much money we have into the building and what the appraised value is, after we finish renovating the house, we're either going to put a HELOC on it, or refinance with a conventional or potentially try to do another FHA.
HELOC is home equity line of credit.
Home equity line of credit, right? So we're gonna get the home equity mortgage buyout is pretty much what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a home equity instead of a mortgage.
What ARV you working with?
I believe this house is 475, something like that. You know, we got houses, brand new houses, that are 2 families that are selling for that price, right? This is a 3 family that we've done brand new, right? This property has new framing, new electrical, new heating system, except for the exterior.
You gonna do the exterior or?
We're debating that right now. So we may just paint it. We're not gonna do new siding or anything like that.
How extensive
So-
the repairs now?
How extensive? Yeah, so we'll get into that right now.
Yeah.
So,
Renovation budget.
yeah, that's we're
I'm
gonna
about
get
to say
into
right
that.
now.
So basically,
People around the corner.
what's that?
There's people around the corner.
All right. You guys can fit in here. No,
It's okay, we can hear.
So it's illegal.
Paul, let me close the door.
gotcha. I'm so, yes, this is a legal 3 family. This is a legal 3 family. So conservatively, I'm working with 425. Right? I feel like we can get an appraisal for 475. Right? But my numbers are based on 425. Right? So if we get 475 in appraisal, we're golden. So guys, appraisers work for banks, and banks want to lend money. Right? And this is one of the things I learned is like you have a potential influence on the appraiser. So it's very important when the appraiser comes to your house to evaluate the house, you're there to talk to that appraiser, to have a conversation with them, to let them know, hey, you know, this is the situation. Here's some data from the area, so that way, you know, you can see this house could be around this price. And as long as the data matches what you're looking for, it's gonna come close. And that's from experience. Right? We do short sales a lot, and that's one of the things that we do to get a lower price on the appraisal for the short sale bank. Right? So it also works the other way around. When you want a low appraisal, you know, you have low data. When you want a high appraisal, you have high data. Right? So now it has to match, and then boom. Right? Banks want to lend money.
So is that a tip for all the investors when the appraiser comes, have your specs ready?
Yes, make sure you meet the appraiser there and have all your information, so that way you can, you know, influence the value. And that's
Share your vision.
that's what this business is all about. I mean, like when people talk about appraisals, I take those as a grain of salt, really, because it's, you know, unexperienced people are gonna take the appraisal value as the gospel. They're gonna go by that number, and that's the number, right? I don't go by that. I mean, it gives me a good idea of what it could be, but it's not like the end all be all of my decision to make a decision for me. So once we renovated, once we started renovation, we started opening walls and this and that. Like pretty much, we noticed the house was a piece of crap. Right? We had a piece of crap. We had to just do the whole thing. We have new, you know, 2x6 framing throughout the whole 2nd and 3rd floor. You guys already see the framing that's been done in the 1st floor. Right, we modified the property tremendously. Right, we had to get architects, permits, every little thing for everything that you see here. It's
With insulation, right? Because this is really
Insulation.
old. Before, in the old days, there was no insulation, so you had to put it.
yeah. So before in this building, they had foam, old foam insulation, right, and they had plaster, old plaster too. So we had to. My goal was to remove, because they also had paneling, that wooden paneling. My goal was to remove the drop ceiling, open up the plaster, run the electrical, open up the vents and patch it up with sheetrock. We started taking out paneling, all of a sudden we had plaster falling on us, boom. It was just old, and pretty much the panel was holding it up. Alright, so when you start removing stuff, things just start adding up quick.
Old properties.
And then we just had to make the business decision that we have to do the whole property. All right, our budget for this house is $130,000. All right, to fix this house, we're gonna go over budget on that. All right, we're gonna be about $150,
A lot of
$150,000.
holding costs.
So the holding cost right now is $2,400 a month, right, on the hard money side, right? Then you got taxes, insurance, utility bills. So you're looking at about $3,000 and change, right? So with that hard money loan, we've been on for about 3 months now. Right, so we use a lot of our finances in the beginning to get the property started. So when you get into this business for renovations, you need to have reserves, right? This is not a business where you like, you know, when you're wholesaling, you have no, you have no skin in the game, which is a great opportunity to make money. So when you're renovating properties, you're on the other end, right? So you need to make sure that you have the finances, the team, and everything in place to make sure that that deal is gonna get done, all right, with that amount. So we're about $150,000, and that's not including the exterior. That's why I'm not gonna spend another $10,000 on wrapping the house with vinyl. That doesn't include the garage that's falling down, all right? That doesn't include any other miscellaneous things that we made.
Now, knowing what you know now, what would you have offered her on this house?
I still would offer.
Same thing, you would have still done one?
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. Properties are selling. Properties are selling for. This house is gonna appraise for around
How about the
$450,000.
cash flow? What's the cash flow?
So it's gonna be
What's the
We're gonna be
rent?
renting these for $1,500 a month. Right? It's brand new apartments. Right? High efficiency heat. Right? We made a decision to not put AC and heat for a tenant, a rental property. All right? There's enough insulation in here, and people can put in their own air conditioners, window ACs.
What is your strategy? You're looking to, once you renovate it, you're going to refinance it, take out the equity, and then buy out something else? Or
So the goal was, that's the goal, to get my money out, have 100% of my money back, right? Get it financed and go move on to the next one.
cool.
You know, but I want to have it as a HELOC. If I don't get a HELOC for about $350 on this, the most I will settle for, or the lowest I will settle for on HELOC is about $320.
Can you explain HELOC a little bit?
Home equity line of credit. So basically, what they're gonna come in is, and this is a Velocity, Carlos, right?
Carlos.
He is the man. Everybody say hi to Carlos. All right. For those of you guys who want to know more about the HELOC and why I'm talking about a HELOC, you know, come to, if you haven't been to our Thursday presentation, come to our Thursday presentation in New York, because Carlos goes into detail about that process, right? But basically, the reason I want a HELOC is because it's going to accelerate the pay down of the debt. Okay, so basically, you know, you're familiar with a home equity line of credit, right? So the reason why I want a HELOC is because we have simple interest versus amortized interest, okay? And we'll just put in our money from other fix and flips, the money that we have from coming in from W-2s, we have some money from coming in from different sources of income, we just dump it into the HELOC, and now our debt service goes down, right? So now we have a debt service. Was doing the numbers. If we get a $300,000 HELOC, the bank's gonna charge me $825 a month. If I get a mortgage for $320,000, my mortgage is going to be $2,700 a month. What do you prefer?
So that's the difference in the refinancing.
HELOC.
Getting the equity out.
Right? So people don't understand HELOCs because when you go to the bank, and this is not a HELOC class, like I said, come back on Thursday for that, you know, but basically they don't understand the process. So for us, I'm better with $800 versus $2,700. Now I also got to pay insurance and taxes on my own, right? But I can control the debt, and you'll learn about that on Thursday when you come to the presentation to learn more about what the details about how that works.
What office is that?
Right? It doesn't matter. We have offices New York, New Jersey, all Long Island. So just get back with the person that invited you here today, and they'll provide you the best details for you. So that's the exit strategy. We're gonna go ahead and put the HELOC on the property. If I get it for $320, I get a HELOC for $320. I may have some money into the property, which I'm fine with. Right? If I get all my money out and I put the HELOC in and I have no money, that's my goal. My goal is to use my money to buy more properties and use leverage to keep the properties that we own. Other people's money. That's the business, right?
Hoorah!
That's it. So then we move on.
So let's say, just to break it down real quick,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you know, he locked 300, the ARV is 420, so you'll still have 120 equity in here.
Yeah, because banks are going
What's
to
that percentage? If you
75, 80%.
That's what it is, 75, 80%.
75, 80%. So that's why we also looked into getting a FHA mortgage for 400,000 or something like that. So that way we can also, get everything out. But another option is for me to sell it, right? Sell the house and move on to the next project, right? So it's very important, guys. This business for renovations, and you're on this side of this business, is very important to have a team. A team for renovation, like your architect, your construction guy, your plumbing, electrical. Every one of those people are. Now you're in the construction business, right? In order for these properties to make it work, so you need to have a solid plan for that. Okay, solid plan. Everything costs money. Every little thing in this house costs money, right? Now, I think I pretty much covered a lot of information, right? What's that? Oh, did everybody sign in? Everybody got put in their information. If you haven't seen Calvin for the sign-in sheet after we finish, go see Calvin to get signed in. All right. That's pretty much what I have to share in terms of the background information. That's our strategy. We purchased it, we renovated. We didn't come into it knowing that we were gonna do this, right? So we had reserves for the project. We went out there and leveraged hard money lenders and the equity in the property to fix it. We have a solid construction crew that this deal wouldn't get done without it, right? Because I'm not here. My business is not construction. I'm not here every single day, right? I come every now and then throughout the week to see how the progress is going, to talk to my construction manager and go with him. He handles all the details inside the project itself. Right. So my business is finding more properties like this. That's my job.
Why
Look
this-
at the way it is. How long till you can put tenants in here?
Downstairs should be done in about 3 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks?
In about 3 weeks, because right now we already passed electrical inspections yesterday. So we're gonna start sheetrocking, and once you start sheetrocking and flooring, right, it's pretty much solid after that. So in about 4 weeks, this property is gonna be done.
Did you get a home inspection?
Everything. Yeah, everything.
Why did you choose this area, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, we didn't choose this area. This area chose us.
I had some people ask me why. Some people worried that it's not such a good area, and I was telling them, you do your research.
It's all about the numbers, right? It's all about the numbers. So we had a homeowner that called us from one of our advertising, and my job as a real estate investor is to make the deal happen, right? That's where education and knowledge comes into place, right? Because some people are like, well, if I don't get a deal from this area, I'm not gonna. Why would you limit your investment or your amount of money you make because you don't know something, right? So the thing about marketing and business for us, anywhere where we get a lead, we're gonna do the deal there if it's comfortable with us, right? So I'm not driving an hour for my property, right? If it's like an hour and a half away, there's got to be some good meat in the bone for that, right? So most of the properties I'm comfortable with 45 minutes to half an hour, right? Eventually we're gonna get into rentals probably on other parts of the country, but right now our business is just renovations and doing that deal. Dealing with property managers is a skill set that I haven't learned yet. All right, so that's going to be the next step sometime later down the road. Any questions, guys?
Jose.
Now we have time for your questions, guys.
Jose.
What time is it? Time check.
11:25.
All right, so you got about 20-25 minutes to open up the floor and get you guys answered.
Hey, Jose, how are the taxes here?
7,000 something.
Not bad at all.
No. Yeah, so I would predict that this gets reassessed once.
Probably go up for maybe 11, 12.
Once the sign up,
Not that much.
Not that much.
No, not in the first year.
once the sign up is done, you'll update the system. Then it's gonna go.
Yeah, once they register the. See, that's why if you sell the house, it's gonna get registered at the deed that is sold for that. But if you refinance, they still have to they have to do more work to find that information.
Do you think you would be able to charge more rent if you had AC? Why did you decide not to put AC?
It's a rental. It's also the furnaces. It will cost an extra like 12-15 grand.
Was the reason because you had like no place to put the condensers or what?
No, it was just finances.
Oh God! So you're just saying you ran out of dough?
No, I'd rather put the money somewhere else because this is so we're not like the decision was made based on location, right? And finances. It didn't make sense for me to like hook up something that's you don't want a Ferrari, when everything around you is a Honda. You know what I mean? Like we have a brand new house.
And you're looking to rent it for $1,500. That's not a lot.
It's not a lot, right? So people are used to window fans or window ACs. So they want AC.
That goes with the area.
I was just gonna say that.
Right, so the area and the finances was the basic decision on that. So
But you got it purely for rental, right? Because I know
we went in yet.
I know you said you're not going to touch the exterior, so from selling point of view, that's never going to happen if you don't touch it, and especially at 420, right, in this area.
Right, so if I have to sell the property, I'm gonna have to do the outside, the exterior. At least paint it or make it look good.
Yeah.
We'll do the shingles. I know I definitely have to do the stairs and the railing in the front. Yes, so if I'm gonna sell it, yeah, we're gonna have to do
How much
something.
you think that would cost if you were to touch the outside? Like what you would just.
It's probably gonna cost about 12-15 grand.
What repairs you came into the deal plotting like
Paint?
number? Oh yeah, get out of here. That's it.
I know you did.
Cabinets,
wow.
vanity.
How old was it prior to?
It was a dump. I mean, the house had like vinyl flooring, but not even the tiles. It was like a vinyl mat.
What was it renting for at the moment?
It wasn't renting bad, man. For the condition and the price, it was 12. It was 11 and 12 on the first floor. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
What's your projected profit right now? What are you looking at?
Well, if I rent it, if I'm rented, we're gonna be clearing about over $1,000.
Cash flow about $1,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah, over. Yeah, well, especially if we get the heat, like it's way more than that. But
And you have the money out. You have your
right, my money.
Whatever you put in already out.
Sorry.
Right.
It's a 2-bedroom. You made it. It was one.
Well, all of them were 2 bedrooms, except for the first floor, which was a 1 bed. It was rented as 2 bedrooms, but you had to go in when you went into the apartment. It was
Railroad?
basically.
I think what he's asking is, was it 3-family to begin with, or
It was always 3 family. It was always 3 family, and it was rented as 2 bedrooms each unit, even though the first floor was not a 2
So
bedroom.
you didn't really add or take away nothing. Actually,
No, we just modified it.
Modified it.
We just modified it, right? Because all the entrances for that bedroom was always through the kitchen. So it cut out space in the kitchen, and it was just like the design was not.
Yeah, you
good.
didn't add or deduct in your rooms. You just repositioned them.
Yeah.
So now that once we opened it up, we're like, you know what? Let's just make it good. The downside is that the bathroom and the entrance to the bedroom is a little small. Right. So that bathroom has a bunch of stories. Like for us to get that bathroom to look like that, it's like the guys that did this construction here. Right, we fought with the architect. They didn't want us to have that size bathroom. They're like, no, it's not gonna fit. It's not gonna work.
How long did it